the first couple of weeks of August as we get ready for the upcoming high school football season. It'll be here before you know it, as people are already counting down to 100 days plus before we get ready for the kickoff of high school, college, and pro football for the 2025. Coming up this upcoming fall season, we'll bring you high school football every Friday night here on 97.5 Glory FM. College football, we'll bring you that each week with Georgia State football with Dave Cohen. And we'll also bring you details about NFL football, the Atlanta Falcons, and more right here on your home team for North Georgia Sports, 97.5 Glory FM. As we wrap things up this morning, we get ready for at least one more week of high school baseball, hopefully 2 more weeks. We're into the Final Four semifinals of the Class AAA State Baseball Playoffs as the Bears of Cherokee Bluff, they're in action on Tuesday as we'll travel down to Middle Georgia and Fort Valley, as it will be the Bears of Cherokee Bluff taking on the Peach County Trojans, the number 2 team in the state, taking on the number 11 Bears, coming up on Tuesday with a twilight doubleheader. We'll start things off at 4 o'clock as Joe Gailey and I go on the road with Glory as we get ready to head down Tuesday to bring you the play-by-play only here on your home team for North Georgia Sports. On our pregame show, we'll begin at around 3:30 on Tuesday. First pitch of the entire series starts at 4 p.m. You'll hear every pitch of every inning of every game of this best-of-3 playoff series. Hopefully the Bears can sweep and get back here to get ready for the championship round a week from, I think it's going to be starting on Monday the 19th, and they'll continue through the 22nd. There are 3 ballparks that I know about. They'll be hosting the upcoming high school baseball state playoffs. There are 7 championships to be decided in the 6 classifications in the GHSA plus the private school championship with 3 ballparks with Coolray Field, also the ballpark for the Rome Emperors, and hopefully also with the Atlanta Braves Stadium there at Truist Park down in Atlanta. So we're looking forward to seeing that the Bears can make it back to the state championship for the 2nd straight year. As Jeremy Kemp will be joining me here in just a few moments to preview the games coming up on Tuesday as they take on Peach County. It's going to be a busy week for the players. Of course, the last 10 days of the school year getting ready for their finals, and then here they are with their final exam getting ready for the semifinals of the high school baseball state playoffs. Now, also, next Wednesday will be the state soccer championship. And once again, the Johnson Knights are involved in the state championship as the Knights will take on the Bruins of Northwest Whitfield at McEachern High School over in the Powder Springs area of Cobb County, and then that area over there, as it will be the Knights going for another championship as they won their game last night as they were victorious over Oconee County on the road in Watkinsville, winning 2-0. It was Northwest Whitfield to win over Jefferson, and so then the Dragons are knocked out. The Dragon girls, they're in the championship game next week as they were victorious over Cherokee Bluff a couple of nights ago. And so we'll look forward to the upcoming high school soccer championship taking place. The high school track and field championships taking place all across the state. The weather has really hampered those activities across the state. And today, weather permitting, the state tennis championships taking place. All classifications taking place at that big complex up in the Rome-Dalton area there in northwest Georgia. They had that huge complex up there in northwest Georgia, and all the state championships taking place up there coming up this weekend. We'll bring you more details of what's happening in the local scene. Next up, we'll talk with Coach Jeremy Kemp, the head coach of the Cherokee Bluff Bears, here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM, on YouTube at Team Glory Sports.
Solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/black and blue.
It's springtime, but it's also allergy time. The pollen is so bad you can't stand it. Your eyes are scratchy, your nose is stuffy, and you can hardly breathe. Well, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can help with all of your allergy needs. They can fill your prescription with expert care and even deliver it to you in the Gainesville area. That's Riverside Pharmacy, across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Temperatures are warming up, and it's time to give your lawn some much-needed attention. Hi, I'm Jennifer with King Green. And with our comprehensive approach to ensuring that your lawn is healthy and thriving, be sure to include our aeration services. Not only does aeration improve overall quality and color in your lawn, it reduces soil compaction, increases root density, and creates a lawn and landscape that you can be proud of. Visit us online at kinggreen.com.
97.5 Glory FM, your home team for North Georgia sports. Will get ready to head to Middle Georgia and Fort Valley coming up on Tuesday. And join me once again here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show is Jeremy Kemp, the head coach of the Cherokee Bluff Bears. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Doing great, sir. Tell me about getting ready for the game on Tuesday with Peach County.
Well, we're just trying to get as much information on them as we can. We feel like we've got a good amount about them, but nobody's really played us, seen us play, and seen them play, so it's kind of tough. Other than West Hall played them and us, and so they're great. I mean, they're a good team, so we're excited about the opportunity to get there, go down there, and play them.
So tell me about really the big thing we talked about last week when you defeated North Hall was really concentrating on what you do best, and your team's getting better every week.
Well, that's kind of been our goal since the very beginning. We didn't get off to the best of starts, and the main thing is that I was telling the guys even during our struggles is I felt like we were getting better every week, and I said, I told them that's what's important. If we can continue doing that throughout the season, then we'll be where we want to be in the end. I promise. And they've done that. They came and worked this week. I mean, they didn't miss a beat. Those were two big wins, and you kind of expect them show up and have a bad practice after two big wins like that, and they didn't. So I'm excited. This group's really a mature group, and wants to work and get better every week. So.
Well, of course, the hitting's been there all season long, but boy, the pitching back against North Hall was spectacular. What Gabe Gowder's done, and then the job Landon. I thought he was going to pitch a no-hitter back on the game with North Hall in Game 2.
Yeah, he did. He's struggling. He needs to throw a couple more strikes. The umpire had a tight zone. There's no doubt about that. But he had a tight zone for both sides, and that's all you want. And that's what I was stressing to our guys is as long as umpires calling it even on both sides, that's all you can ask for. And so, I mean, he did well, and I was super proud of him for battling, and Gabe, too. They're both kids that get out there and compete on the mound.
Well, I was talking, Jeremy, about Gabe Gowder. You can probably count on one hand the number of pitchers who have won as many ball games in one season as Gabe has this season.
Yeah, he's, I think he's 11-1 or 12-1.
12.
I don't. Is it 12-1?
Yes, sir.
He's been great, and his one loss was the first game of the year,
mm-hmm.
And he really struggled that game, and since then he's been really good. I mean, really good all year long. So they just need him to keep doing it for a couple more weeks. We'll be in good shape.
Tell me about, you were talking about the big thing you want to key on in the North Hall series was emotions. How important is that going to be against Peach County?
It's going to be the same. They're a passionate group, and we've heard stories about them, and the way they're described to me is a very good program, passionate about what they do, and kind of sounded just like they were describing North Hall. So it's that was a great experience getting to go up there. That's a great environment that we played in at North Hall, and I think it's going to be very similar down there at Peach County.
Well, you look at going on the road like you've had to so far in the state playoffs, going into Northwest Whitfield, for example, then going to North Hall, now going down to Peach County, and you were talking about how you like to really go and play on the road.
Oh yeah, I love if you can win the first game. I swear it's a huge advantage being the home team in the second game. That's huge. I do want to play at home. There's no doubt about that. But we don't mind playing on the road at all.
Well, we talked about it before. I think it was just nothing else. The experience of playing in the state championship last year was something your kids strive for again this year.
Absolutely. I mean, that like we talked about last week, just the experience, that you gain from playing all those games and getting to play in a big game like that. It's irreplaceable. You can't replace that, man. You can't make make a freshman or sophomore that's never been there know what it's like. You just can't do it. So, there's no substitute for that.
Tell me about the change in your batting order. I like how you changed things up and how now it just seems to be flowing from 1 through 9.
Yeah, I mean, really, we just, we're going to, and that's kind of our philosophy. We went straight with the kids that we're going to put you in the position that makes us the best baseball team. And, whether you're talking about a defensive position or a batting order, I mean, we're just trying to get it where, guys can't pitch around people and they have to throw to people. And now we got guys stepping up behind people, accepting the challenge. Faulkner, got pitched around a little bit. Now he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting pitches to hit. So we're excited about that. We like where we are as far as our lineup goes, but that's not saying that I won't change it. If we feel like we need to change it to win a game, we for sure will.
What's you're going right now, and having Bubba Coleman there in the leadoff position, that just starts the momentum going.
Yeah, he set the tone, man. That second pitch of the game, he hit that ball out, and it set the tone of the whole day. And he's been on fire here lately. He hit a lot of balls hard in that series, and then just like you said, all the way through. Landon, Ethan, Bryce, KT, and Bo, and all the way down through the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody contributed on Wednesday, man. It was just a lot of fun.
Well, the thing about too, between the pitching and then them trying to challenge Bo's arm, and he threw out 2 runners. That's something you really don't see that much in high school baseball.
Yeah, but I was super proud of Bo because the first game didn't go the way he wanted to at the plate, and
Mm-hmm.
he was passionate and took kept them both separate, kept his defense and offense separate, and just did a great job, and sometimes that's hard to do, especially being a sophomore. You let the emotions get the best of you when you're struggling at the plate, or something bad happens at the plate. You usually take it to the field. Well, he doesn't, and I'm most proud of him for that because that's what we need him to do.
One thing I'm being proud of is the turnout you had from the Bear Nation there back on Wednesday at North Hall. I probably won't be able to go down to Beach County because of school and everything else going. That's why we're going to be there to let everybody know that they can hear the action right here on our website at WGTJRadio.com and on FM 97.5 AM 1330 coming up on Tuesdays. We'll be there to bring everybody every pitch of every inning of every game of Cherokee Bluff Championship Baseball right here. And okay, so let everybody know about the difference between maybe the pressure these guys may have on them to get back to the big series compared to just playing baseball coming up Tuesday.
Yeah, we just try to keep it as simple as we can. We're going down there we're going to try to relax and just play our game, and that's what we did Tuesday up at North Hall, Wednesday up at North Hall, and just try to block all that out and just play baseball, and that's what we're going to do down there. So.
Well, they got a mission, no doubt about that. Bears looking to head back to the state championship series for the second straight year, and we'll be there to bring you the play-by-play right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Jeremy, as always, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Tuesday, okay?
Thank you so much, Mike. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it much. Jeremy Kemp, he is the head baseball coach at Cherokee Bluff. Another great year they have had in the Final Four once again as they will go up against Peach County. We'll tell you more about that right here on 97.5 Glory FM, your home team for North Georgia sports.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, thanks to Jeremy Kemp joining us this morning. Again, we'll have Peach County and Cherokee Bluff on the air coming up on Tuesday. Pre-game show starts at 3:30. First pitch of a twilight doubleheader starting at 4 p.m. If they have to play a third deciding game, it's on Wednesday at 1 p.m. And Joe Gelly bringing the play-by-play of that game right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Winner of the series plays either Pickens or really, so the other team is going. Pickens is playing. I went blank there for a moment, but Pickens is playing Troop. It's Pickens and Troop. That's who it is. The team out of LaGrange and Pickens out of Jasper playing in the other bracket. Winner will play for the state championship coming up a week from Monday. We'll tell you more about that right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Now we turn to college sports action in our final show of the season, and we talked to Brendan Schabath, who is the Director of Sports and Communications at the University of North Georgia in Dahlonega. Hey, Brendan.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm blessed, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Busy time of year. A lot of UNG teams in the postseason, so it's a fun time for us.
Yeah, we'll get you on one more time this is our final show of the school year here, and here you are wrapping things up. And we look at the success of the teams right now. You got so many teams in the postseason. Let everybody know what's going on with the softball team and with the golf teams.
Yeah, so I guess we'll go chronologically. The women's golf team made it as a team to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history this year. Head coach Sierra Campbell, who is now in her fifth or sixth season with the program, has just done phenomenal things with that group and with that team. And they go to the NCAA tournament for the first time this year. As the host of the Southeast, or the South Regional, I should say, it was played at Chattahoochee up there in Gainesville, and four of the top 18 teams, the top four of the 18 teams in the regional make it to the national championship site, which is in Vegas this year for the women.
Oh, wow.
And our women's team was down 2 strokes of a fourth-place spot on the final hole on Wednesday with only 2 golfers left on the course. And Abby Franks, who's a sophomore, made a 25-foot birdie putt on 18 to get within 1 shot, and then a senior, Ellie Rippey, in the fairway behind her, stuck her approach shot to about 4 feet and made the putt. Everybody thought the season was over. It looked like they were going to come up just short, and Rippey stuck the approach shot, and she made the birdie putt, forcing a 3-team playoff. UNG would lose that playoff, and Wingate would advance to the national championship, but it was one of the coolest moments that I've been a part of in sports, seeing the way that they just improbably came back and forced a playoff. It was really cool to be there for that. And now our softball team's hosting the Southeast Regional 2 tournament right now as the 2nd seed in the Southeast region, and they've got a chance today to take down Lenore Ryan. They're going to need 2 wins against the Bears after a loss to them yesterday to advance to the Super Regional. Men's tennis picked up a win in the NCAA tournament yesterday. They beat Wingate up there in Salisbury, North Carolina at Catawba. So they play Catawba, who's the 2nd seed in the region. They play them today at 3 o'clock for a chance to go to the national championship for their first time in program history. And then men's golf finishes up the South/Southeast Regional today. They absolutely exploded yesterday, going 15 under par in the second round. Of the 20 teams in the regional, and as I'm sure you're probably aware, Mike, it's the toughest regional in the country. I think there's 14 or 18 teams in the top 25 in the South/Southeast Regional. But of the 20 teams in the regional yesterday, only 3 went below par as a team.
Wow.
And the next best after UNG was 5 under. And they had all 4 counting scores go below par, the Nighthawks did. So 15 under is the 3rd best 18-hole score in program history, so it was just a really big day for them. And they're playing well at the right time. It looks like they're set up for another national championship run on the men's side with Bryson Worley, so we're excited for that.
And waiting for them to win a championship. And we knew when Coach Worley went from Gainesville High to North Georgia, that was the goal from day one, was win a national championship.
Absolutely, and they came awfully close last year. They came within 1 match within the national championship match. They lost 3-2 to Colorado Christian, who is still currently the number 1 team in the nation. They've been unbelievable this year, so excited to get a chance to watch them play again, should both teams make it, and that's what I expect, is that both teams will make it out of their regional and head to West Palm Beach this year for the national championship. But yeah, Bryson Worley's done a fantastic job, and this has been the goal, like you mentioned, Mike, ever since day one. And he just keeps getting closer and closer, and we're hoping that after our runner-up finish last year that this can be the year.
Remind everybody, do you go stroke play or match play when you go to the championship?
So the national championship, I actually really like the format. It's unique. They play stroke play for the first 3 days out of the, I believe it's 12 teams that are there, maybe more than that. It might be 15 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, after 3 days of stroke play, the top 8 teams advance to a match play bracket and are seeded 1 through 8 based on their performance in the stroke play portion of the tournament. And then from there, it's medal match play, 5-on-5 within the 8 teams in a bracket style, and you advance to the national championship that way.
So we got a great chance with that kind of format, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Nighthawks, obviously one of the best stroke play teams in the country, but we've got some guys on this team that just really excel when put in that high-pressure me versus you environment, and we saw that last year, and a lot of those guys have returned, and I'm really excited about the idea of this team in a medal match play event going against some of the other best players in the country. I really like our chances if that happens.
We're talking to Brendan Schabath, the Director of Communications at the University of North Georgia out of Dahlonega here on 97.5 Glory FM, your home team for North Georgia sports in our final show for the school year. And we'll take the summer off, get ready for the fall season, and looking forward to some great things happening this fall. And UNG continues to be so successful. If you would explain to everybody, you get the best of both worlds to be in both the golf team and the tennis team, is that you're playing individually, but at the same time you're playing for the team, and you got both ways win championships.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it can affect your outlook on the team and your outlook on a specific match or tournament based on whether the group plays well or whether one person plays well. And it's been interesting to see the different players throughout the year in both programs struggle and get better throughout the season. I think if you look at the women's tennis team, for example, Angelina Linikova is, in my opinion, hands down the best women's singles player in the country. She's currently ranked second by a computer scoring system with the ITA, but she is, I believe, 8-0 against ranked opponents this year.
Wow.
She has beaten the number 1 player in the country. She's beat the number 2 player in the country twice. She beat number 5, number 12, number 17, I believe, number 25. She's undefeated this year at 21-0. And she's got the Nighthawks playing well lately. But Angelina has been sensational this year after she had a great year last year, and the team obviously had a fantastic year last year. They went 25-2. They went to the Final Four for the first time in program history. But this year as a team, their record isn't as good. They have struggled a little bit. But with the way Linikova has played and with the addition of some new pieces, they've gotten some freshmen and some transfers that have played really well. They're still in a prime spot to go back to the national championship. And they won the Peach Belt tournament this year against a tough Columbus State team, which is really good for them. It's the second year in a row that they've won it. They had never won that program or that tournament before last year, and they're back in the NCAA tournament this week, and that'll be played. We're the host of it as the second seed in the Southeast region, and because of the rain coming, it's actually going to be played at Clemson. The University of Clemson has just been very gracious to us in allowing us to use their facility this upcoming week to play there. But we're hoping that we can have, with those two individual yet team sports, we can have 2 more groups back in the national championship again this year.
That'll be something else also. Tell everybody, too, about the baseball team. I know the Peach Belt Conference tournament took place this week. We had that 9th inning that really cost us a chance to go to the Peach Belt Conference Championship. But do the rankings the same way in the Southeast like they do the other sports, or we have a chance to advance on to the national tournament, or is the season over now?
No, yeah, absolutely. The Nighthawks are definitely in line to make the Southeast Regional, which will be split up in baseball the same way it is in softball. It'll be 8 teams with 2 top seeds that will host one half of the Southeast Regional bracket, and then the winners of those, they will play a super regional at the highest remaining seed. For the Nighthawks, we're looking at probably the 6th seed going into the tournament. We'll know Sunday at 10:30. That's when the selection show is for baseball. So
Good.
It looks like Lenore-Rhine up in Hickory or Catawba up in Salisbury are going to be the hosts of both portions of the Southeast Regional bracket, those 2 teams out of the South Atlantic Conference. So UNG's getting ready to go to either one of those spots and be back in a Southeast Regional for the first time since 2017 when they went to the College World Series. And then this region is so difficult and far and away the best region in the country in Division II baseball that the seeding honestly doesn't matter. I think UNG is set up, even though obviously you want to win the Peach Belt tournament, but losing it in the first weekend after a long weekend because of the rain delays and everything that happened, losing it last weekend and getting this entire week off and next week going into the weekend for the tournament to rest your pitchers, rest your position players, hopefully get some guys back healthy, give everybody a chance to reset and put their attention towards the task at hand. I think UNG is set up really well to make a run in this NCAA tournament. I think no matter what the seeds are, no matter who the opponent is, anybody's first pitcher can shut down another team's offense and can give you a chance to win. UNG is absolutely the same way, but I'd argue that our second and third pitchers are like that too. And so if UNG can do that and they can play well, obviously Tom Cantrell is going to have that offense rolling. If they can get the bats to support the arms, and if the starting pitchers can pitch to, I would say, an average performance, I think they've got a chance to go to the Supers, and then from there anything can happen.
Well, I was there for Game 1 back in 2000, and it's great to see Coach Cantrell having a chance, to advance on to the next round in his last season here at UNG.
Yeah, it was kind of only fitting that it would end this way. We went into this year and knew that he had such a good team, and when he announced that he would be retiring at the end of the season, I just kind of thought, like, man, I hope this team performs as well as I think they can, because it could be really special for him and for them in his last year. And it already has been with a PBC regular season championship. Sure. And I've talked to him a lot and talked to his players a lot, and this is a very tight group, and they've been through a lot this season. And in the last 5 years with Cantrell, and it would be so special for them to do something cool like this and to kind of shock everybody and win the regional and go to the College World Series. I really hope that they can get that done. That would be so cool for them.
Absolutely.
But regardless, it's been unbelievable for them to have as successful of a season as they have in his final year already.
Has the university made a decision about his successor?
They have not yet. I haven't even really heard anything. I know the search is going on, and as is the case with any North Georgia head coach, it's a nationwide search to get the best replacement of any athletic program when a new coach comes in, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Big shoes to fill, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Cantrell built this program from the ground up when it was restarted, like you said, Mike, back in 2000. So it's certainly not going to be easy for whoever comes in, but I trust that we're going to get a good person and a good candidate and someone who's ready for the job.
All right, final thing, a couple of things. How about recruiting in the off-season here for all these athletic programs at UNG to continue the success we've had?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great place to come spend your college years and a great program to be a part of. This athletic department is, I would argue, one of the fastest growing athletic departments in the country from a facilities, support, and employment perspective. Like, people are getting added to this department. We're getting support from some unbelievable alumni and donors, and the growth of UNG is just skyrocketing and has been for a 3 or 4 year pace now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of those things that can be exponential, and that it can just grow more and more each year. And I think we're seeing that with the amount of success with the athletic teams.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how the baseball bracket shakes out, North Georgia is likely to be the only team or the only school in the country with their 6 spring sports in the NCAA postseason. That's
Wow.
baseball, softball, both golf programs, and both tennis programs.
How about that?
That speaks volumes
Sure.
to the growth that this athletic department has had in recent years. And so this is a great place to play and a great place to be. And it's not just that Dahlonega is a fantastic area. It's not just that the University of North Georgia is not only a good school but a good athletic program, but it's the people. Like there are some truly amazing people within the teams and within the athletic department and the university that make this a destination that people want to come to. And I think more and more student athletes are realizing it and are going to realize it in the future.
If they keep having success in the Peach Belt Conference, the conference keeps changing too, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's college sports. It's an evolving world, and teams and players come and go a lot more today than they used to. And obviously, it's no different for a conference. And for the Peach Belt, they're adding Middle Georgia next year, so I think we're excited about that, to have another Georgia school within the conference that absolutely deserves it. But yeah, I think North Georgia is doing its best to be at the front end of the modern college world, and within the Peach Belt Conference, I think they've done a good job.
Oh, no doubt about that. Brandon, thanks so much. I really enjoyed talking with you. Learned a lot about UNG sports to all of our listeners, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. Congrats on a fantastic year.
Appreciate it very much. Brandon Schabath joining us here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. We got much more for you coming up next here on your home team for North Georgia Sports, 97.5 Glory FM.
Oh, tell me again what we're doing here at the Chicken Monument in Gainesville.
Sure, Mary. What better place to promote our great lineup of home-cooked chicken at Longstreet Cafe?
Oh, yeah. Fried, grilled, rotisserie, wings, tenders, even homemade chicken and dumplings, and chicken soup. Delicious. But what's the deal with the bucket truck?
Well, it's 25 feet up to the top of the Chicken Monument, Mary.
Wait, I'm not going up there.
Enjoy the view. Take her up, fellas.
No.
Longstreet Cafe with 2 Gainesville locations. Online at longstreetcafe.com.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks to Jeremy Kemp joining me this morning. Also, Brandon Schabath, the UNG. So we've talked high school baseball. We've talked college sports. Now we've talked high school football. We're into spring training here, we can call it now. And we got some spring football games coming up this week. Joining us as the head coach of the Gainesville High Red Elephants, Josh Nibley here. Hey, Josh.
How you doing, Mike?
Great, brother. How are you?
Good, man. I'm good.
So you got a game this week, right?
Yeah, we play at North Gwinnett Thursday. I mean, originally we were supposed to go to Georgia State was going to host play a 2-team deal in 2 halves and play Thomas County Central and then play North Gwinnett, but they had somebody overbooked the stadium. And 2 weeks we found out from them that they weren't going to put it on anymore, and after we'd been kind of preparing for it for about 3 months. So we got graduation the next night, so we're going to have to travel to North Gwinnett. Wish we could have it at home, or wish we were doing it at Georgia State. But, we'll go back to North Gwinnett like we did last year, but it'll be a great opportunity for us to kind of evaluate where we're at and play somebody different.
So what's been the big thing for you this spring with the football team?
I think the biggest thing is just, every year you're trying to figure out what your identity is going to be, and you're trying to create an identity on both sides, of the ball. We still work some special teams, but we'll work more special teams in the summer and, in fall camp to get ready for the season. But, offensively and defensively, just, trying to be able to evaluate kids and create some depth, have a good feel for who we're going to be on both sides of the ball. And like I said before, what's our identity going to be, and teach our kids how to practice, try to have a physical spring, so we can see who can block, who can tackle, who can take care of the football, and who can play at a high level.
So do you have the situation some other schools do, Josh, where you have guys who are playing other sports in springtime and maybe don't get as much playing time in spring practice with your team?
Well, we don't. I mean, this year, we've had everybody except for a couple of guys that are in track.
Okay.
And so, we've had a good number of kids. I mean, I remember my first spring, I think we were probably 60 to 65 kids at spring, and now we're close to between 130 and 140.
Whoa.
And, so, you got to do a really good job of being organized and, making sure your coaches understand that we're trying to get everybody reps because we're trying to develop everybody. So, we've had most everybody out there. We've got a couple of guys, like I said, that run track. So, they'll finish up this weekend. Hopefully they'll win a state championship, and then we'll have them next week.
Are there more new faces there for the football team at Gainesville, huh?
Yeah, there are. We've got some new faces, on both sides of the ball, and then we've got faces that you would recognize. So, there's a good mixture of connection of our kids, and like I said before, it's in the off season you're trying to create an identity of who you're going to be, and so you got to do a really good job of trying to evaluate everybody, put everybody in the positions to where they can play to their strengths, understand what their deficiencies are. We work to try to improve those, try to continue to build on their strengths, and then when you put all 11 together collectively, then you got to figure out, what you do best.
Any change in the staff for you this year?
Yeah, well, we've had a little bit of staff turnover a little bit just because guys get opportunities to go be coordinators and be head coaches, and we had some guys on staff that got an opportunity, a couple of guys that got to go one to be a coordinator and one to be a head coach. And so, I'm always excited about that. The year before, we had guys that, had a chance to go coach college, had a chance to go be a coordinator. And so I try to grow our guys because, I want to give them those opportunities. Of course, I want them to be with me as long as I can keep them with me, but only if they're continuously growing and, and getting better every day, and they're still trying to develop to get to that point where they want to be a coordinator one day or either have their own room or they want to be a head coach. So that's what we're about here. And, last year we had some staff turnover late. We had some turnover, in the summer, and that's just hard. It's hard to do. And this year, though, I feel really good about our staff. I feel really good about, the men, number one, that we have commanding our rooms. And, we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to grow as a staff so we can make sure we're connecting with our players.
So that also some of the things you work on during the springtime is y'all mission together as a staff?
Yeah, we have, and, I try to come up with ways as a head coach of what are some things that we can do to connect our staff and have shared experiences. I mean, we had a professional development. We went and did professional development at South Florida this year for a few days of, connecting with their staff while they're having spring ball and kind of watch and evaluate kind of what they do. We kind of went to Georgia's coaches clinic. I had our coaches go to Georgia one day just to kind of watch them practice, sit in on some meetings and some evaluations. And then, we're doing a book study right now, and as a staff, and within that book study that we do, we'll relay that message to our players also. So, as many things as you can do to try to grow your staff, because I feel like as a head coach, your job is to coach your coaches and your coaches to coach your players.
Now's the time to go ahead and start building these young men and to know it's more about just about football?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's an everyday thing for us. I mean, we don't lose the value of that by just trying to build football players. We don't want them to we want to be people who happen to play football, not players who happen to live life. So we make sure we keep the priority the main thing. And, I'm just love my staff. I love the connection that we have in our locker room. We don't talk about accountability as a program. We talk about responsibility because I just don't think the word accountability meshes with kids today because they just see it from a negative light. And so, we really talk hard about that. our number one reason on why we exist in our program is to be champions in all we do, and everybody's got to speak that. If you walked into our building and you ask any player that walked by you, hey, why do you exist, or any staff member, they're going to tell you, hey, to be champions in all we do. And, you know, we try to have 3 core values in our program, and we don't try to have 5 or 6 or 4 or 10. We have 3 because I think everybody's got to be able to, you know, give those back to each other and hold each other responsible. You know, number one is we're going to choose hard. You know, we're not going to choose easy every day. We're going to choose hard, and sometimes hard is tough, and you got to wake up every day and you got to be willing to do it. You know, the second part's high truth, high love. You know, as a player, you got to be able to give each other high truth, high love, and then as a coach, you got to be able to give high truth, high love to each other and to your players. So the last thing is then me plus the G. You know, some people may say, why isn't it G plus me? But, I mean, in this day and time, I mean, you know, kids want to have their opportunity to get theirs. And my whole thing I tell our players is this: look, you can be as selfish as you want to get what you want, but you got to be equally as selfish to be a great teammate. And I've really enjoyed watching our kids grow. I've watched our kids the last 4 or 5 months take on responsibility of being the leaders of our school. And I'm excited about where we're at as a program. We're not where we want to be, but we're not where we were. And so we're going to continue to grow this thing and build off of what we've been able to do here in the past and try to grow it for the future.
For this fall, though, people will get a chance to see you a lot. 7 home games at City Park this year?
Yeah. Well, and then count McKeecher in the fall jamboree, that'd be 8. And then we need to go win games, and we need to go win the region. So have an opportunity to maybe even host 3 or 4 more, you know, which would almost be unheard of. But
no, sure.
You know, I feel good about this year. I feel good about where we're at as a program. Now we got to show up every day, and we got to continue to grow and get better. We got to stay healthy. And then at the end of the day, us saying we want to be great is not going to get it done. I mean, we got to show up every day, put the work in, hold each other responsible, and then get results in the end. You know, we got a bad taste in our mouth from last year, and you know, we talked about it as a program that, hey, look, we got to own what happened last year. We can't own 2022 and 2023 and not own 2024. So if we'll own it, then we'll earn the right to fix it. And so that's what we're looking forward to doing.
So any change in the schedule? I know you played teams out of state last year. Same thing this year?
Yeah, the schedule just flipped. So everything that was away is at home. And so that's all it is. And then we'll play the same teams. You know, we'll start out with Marietta, and we'll end with Roswell. So, you know, it's the same schedule, just flip home and away.
All right, final thing for people who haven't realized, too, you mentioned this a few moments ago, you got some players who are going to already committed to go to the big next level and see everybody in the big-time Division I, but at the same time, they can't be successful even looking at that unless the football team is successful, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, anytime we have a player of a high level that's got a lot of, you know, exposure, and he's got a lot going on around him, and, you know, he's a guy that's highly recruited, it's only great for everybody in the program. I mean, this past, I guess it was Thursday, I mean, you know, we walked out of the bottom of the field house of the Student Activity Center to go out to practice at, you know, about 6:40 that morning. And when we walk out, I mean, there's 32 coaches, college coaches, standing there waiting on us to come out, which is, it was almost like a movie. That stand there and watch all of our players and evaluate them. And, you know, they're there to see some guys, but then by being there to see some guys, they see other guys that get on their radar, get on their board. And, you know, I'm excited about that opportunity. So our really, really good players help our players that have maybe not got their name out there yet, that we're working on trying to continue to get them more exposure. They help them also. So, you know, our guys love that part of it. I bet you we've had close to, I mean, it's been close to 60 to 75, you know, big-time programs come through our program this spring to watch practice. And then, you know, we've had some FCS schools, and then we've had some Division II schools. We've had some NAIA schools. So, you know, at every level, because every kid that we have is not going to go play Power 5. You know, we want to give them opportunities to go play. And I've been excited about how we have grown that in our program, and we'll continue to grow that to give our kids a future and add value to them.
Well, a lot of opportunity there for people to play football in the state of Georgia, Josh. You know it.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. Well, and there's, I mean, if you're willing to want to just go play ball. I mean, there's opportunities everywhere
Sure.
because you can go out of state and play. You can go do whatever. But, it's the willingness to want to go, and you got to be stretched a little bit. You got to get out of your comfort zone. But then you go to grow your life and your next chapter, and what did you want that to be?
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a great ball game this week, and we'll talk to you this fall. Have a great summer, okay? Appreciate it much, man.
Well, Mike, love you, man. Think a lot of you. Appreciate what you do for this community, and God bless you, brother, and have a great Mother's Day.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate it very much. Josh Dibb with the head football coach of the Gainesville High Red Elephants joining us this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Coming up next, we're going to wrap things up for the school year. We'll talk college baseball and more up next on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM, online at WGTJRadio.com, and on YouTube at Team Glory Sports.
It's springtime, but it's also allergy time. The pollen is so bad you can't stand it. Your eyes are scratchy, your nose is stuffy, and you can hardly breathe. Well, the pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can help with all of your allergy needs. They can fill your prescription with expert care and even deliver it to you in the Gainesville area. That's Riverside Pharmacy, across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
King Green's dedication to exceptional quality is our top priority. Hi, I'm Jennifer with King Green. We've added an exceptional new product, Biomax, to our program this year. It is specifically formulated to nourish your lawn and promote healthy growth with each application. With its science-backed approach, we know with healthy soil, you have a healthy lawn. Trust King Green for a lawn that exceeds expectations every time. Visit us online at kinggreen.com.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
And thanks to all of our great sponsors who make our broadcast possible here on 97.5 Glory FM. Closing out another year of the Saturday Morning Sports Show. I have really, honestly lost count. This show began around 22 years ago, probably, at Long Street Cafe when Tim Bunch was talking to me about doing a sports show there. On Saturday mornings, Ron Poole and I did a 30-minute show between 9 and 9:30. We said, oh, my goodness, what are we going to do? Talk about for 30 minutes. And then it went from there, expanded to an hour. And then we've been doing it here in our studios since 2018 now, here live in the Sports Center here at 97.5 Glory FM. And we're with you every Saturday morning during the school year. I'll take the summer off. I've got to go to Tampa next week for my next checkup with my doctor. And then I'm going to take a few weeks off and then get ready, on Saturdays at least, and then get ready for the fall season here on 97.5 Glory FM. High school football, talking with Coach Josh Niblett there, starts in the middle of August this year. And believe it or not, for the first time, it's going to end in October. The high school football regular season will end on Halloween, and then we'll get ready for the postseason, and we'll hopefully get a chance to go through Thanksgiving this year with teams here across the local area going to the high school football state playoffs. And also congratulations to coaches who have been hired this year as new head coaches this fall. At Flowery Branch, Michael Perry, who was the was a head coach at Union County, also coached at East Hall, was an assistant coach at Gainesville, was a head coach at Cambridge years ago. He coached Deshaun Watson as a quarterback coach at Gainesville High about 13 plus years ago. And Michael Perry, the new head football coach at Flowery Branch. And you have Nagy Lyons, who's now the new head football coach at West Hall High in his first spring training there with the Spartans. And also Carlton Montgomery leaving West Hall this year. He's now going to be an assistant at Monroe area coming up this fall, and looking forward to that. And also our best to William Harrell, the head football coach at Johnson, who announced his resignation to head back home to Augusta to take care of his mother. So they're still looking at hiring a new football coach at Johnson High, and then other coaching changes taking place here in the local area coming up for this upcoming season, not only with high school football, but also with basketball, baseball, There was also a coaching change in wrestling, and there's still sports that are looking at wrapping up their seasons here with track and field, with tennis, with golf coming up. Congratulations to Tim Bunch at Long Street Cafe. His grandson, JT Bunch, won the area championship at White County High, going for a state championship. You have Hudson Justice, the son of Scott Justice, who's at Lakeview Academy now, who's been around as a principal at West Hall High, who was a coach at North Hall and at Chestatee, former assistant superintendent at White County High. His son Hudson won that drive, chip, and putt contest there at the Masters last month, and we see some outstanding athletes individually and with teams here in our local area. Also talking about high school baseball, again, with Class AAA play, Joe and I'll be in Fort Valley this Tuesday, as it will be Cherokee Bluff going for their second trip to the state championship. They'll take on the Trojans of Peach County down in Fort Valley in a best-of-3 playoff series. We'll start things off the pregame show at 3:30. First pitch will be at 4 of a twilight doubleheader. If necessary, back on Wednesday, and Joe will bring you the play-by-play of that one coming up on Wednesday at 1 p.m. with the winner going to the state championship. The other bracket has Troop against Pickens. Pickens upset Harlem, the number 1 team in the state, and Cherokee Bluff upset the number 3 team in the state. So you look at how the seedings are right now. You have the number 2 team in the state still alive there in Peach County, but now you got the number 11 seed with a chance to win and head on to the state championship. Soccer championships taking place next Wednesday at McEachern High. It will be Johnson's boys going up against the Northwest Whitfield Bruins out of Tunnel Hill. And you've got also another chance for a championship there for the Johnson Knights, which have had an outstanding, dominant program there with their soccer teams. The Jefferson girls will be playing for a state championship in soccer coming up this week. You heard about the North Georgia teams with the baseball team probably heading to the Southeast Regional. Also, the softball team playing today at 12 o'clock, weather permitting, in the losers bracket. They got to win 2 today to advance on to the next round. Then with the golf championships taking place, Bryson Worley's team with a chance now to play for a national championship down in West Palm Beach, Florida. The women heading to Las Vegas. So a lot of great things happening when it comes to success of high school and college sports here in our local area. Looking forward to being with you each Saturday coming up in August throughout next May in 2026 here on 97.5 Glory FM. And thank you so much for being a part of our family here and our team at 97.5 Glory FM. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. Looking forward to even upgrading it in the future as we continue to grow here at your home team for North Georgia Sports. And everybody who works with us here behind the scenes with Nathan Laddie and with Joe Gailey, or Harper LaBelle, with Gary Glenn. Ryan Phillips helps me out every once in a while when we get such opportunity. There's so many people who are part of what we do here when it comes to bringing you the very best in local sports coverage, as we bring you more local sports than any other radio station in North Georgia. Well, the clock's about to hit 0 here on the season. Join me today. We've got college baseball today, the last game of the regular season for us, coming in college baseball at 2. Now it moved from 12 p.m. 12 p.m. noon today. We'll start things off at 12 o'clock noon. As soon as the Gospel Grace concludes, we'll have college baseball action, weather permitting, there from Panthersville as Georgia State goes up against Marshall. Last night, a wild game, went 4 hours and 15 minutes with Marshall winning 15-14 in 10 innings. Dave Cohen brings the play-by-play here on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks for being with me here on 97.5 Glory FM. That's the Saturday morning sports show here on 97.5 Glory FM.